And finally, our last speaker.
Finally.
I know it says the next speaker. I don't know. Our next speaker. You're supposed to shall discover. Oh my God. Sorry, you can tell me what you wrote here. What comes next? Let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Jordan Camenker with his speech titled Resolutions. Any of y'all have any resolutions for the new year?
No.
Yes.
Mr. Leckadu.
Yes.
What's your resolution?
To be alive again.
Work on that. Anyone? Yes.
I got some resolution. I'm going from 1080 to a 4K TV.
He's going to do that in Alabama where he gets to use smaller words.
Yeah, that's your resolution.
What is it?
To get more speeches in the club.
All right.
Next, you got resolutions. I got one more for you. Add to the collection of resolutions which you've accumulated this one word: gratitude. Gratitude. Yesterday, I got a call from a former student. Those poor students, I told them at the beginning, you'll never get rid of me. And so they've given up, and I'm in touch with them. Some going back 40 years. She told me that another student who I had assigned to her as a mentor, someone who was already in a law firm in town, an earlier student of mine, had lost her son that day, just a couple hours ago. And I called, no answer, I left a message. And I cannot imagine what's going on in her body and soul, the torment and the wreckage. I can't imagine it. I consider myself profoundly blessed. I start with the rodentia. You guys know about the rodentia, right? Some people call their children children. I dispensed with that years ago. My children, as they started off, was the rugrats, then they were the rats. That didn't work out so well. So the rodents, and now they're the rodentia. The rodentia. All four are married. They have families. They have homes. They have wonderful lives, and they're all but one are very close in distance. They're all close emotionally. And I have right now 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the pipeline. 4 in the pipeline. One was due yesterday, probably coming the next day or so. One's due in a couple of weeks, another one in April, another one in July. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my wife who puts up with my weirdness, which you guys can only imagine. I'm grateful for the marvelous job I have where I get to actually make an impact on people's lives. And those students that I told you about last week, they'll be out of prison next year. I'm grateful for my friends. I count many of you among my friends. Roy, for example. You guys may not know this, but Roy and I were in a comedy troupe together for several years. It was a great deal of fun, and Roy even tolerated me inserting 3 of the rodentia into our performance at the Fringe Festival. He played off of it beautifully. Roy gave me some ideas on the speech that I used that actually won the district competition. I'm blessed. Roy actually called once, shortly after I joined the club on the heels of my divorce, and he called just because he was worried, was I okay emotionally? Just for that reason alone. I don't even know if you remember that. I count as a blessing my buddy Kim, of course. Kim's the guy who got me into this club. I've told you this story. I won't go over it in detail, but I was going through that divorce. He'd been trying to get me into Toastmasters for 10 years. I couldn't imagine joining a drinking club. I've been in a fraternity. And so, late 1998, he took me, just to cheer me up, he took me to a Hooters. I threw up. So that wasn't it, but he loosened me up a little and he brought me here, and I'm thinking, they're not drinking. So I thank him. I would not have met my wife without Kim. I would not have met any of you without Kim. I would not have met the number of you that have actually gone and judged student competitions without Kim having been there for me. And so there is something else about this club that I appreciate, and I want you to think about it. I appreciate Jeff, and you should too, who somewhat reamed me out when I used the A word. I said, I said, I said, and I can't remember exactly what the word was, something like derriere. Yes. We need people to help us keep our standards high. This is one of the greatest clubs in the entire country. I've been to dozens of clubs. I've communed with people from 4 continents involved in Toastmasters. This is one of the greatest clubs in the country, probably on the planet. And it is great for a reason. I'm grateful to Carmelo, who carps at me every time I come in late, because we need to respect time. Carmelo does that, and he monitors other things too, but I'll tell you what, you see this? My DTM, I finished all those speeches and all the extra stuff in 2003. It was Carmelo that hammered at me to get all the paperwork filed before they changed the system. That was Carmelo. Carmelo cares that we maintain high standards. We wear these clothes, the ties and the coats, because it conveys to the rest of us a seriousness of purpose that the other clubs don't have. So many of them are dying, and we are thriving. And it is because of the people who insist on higher standards. I'm grateful to Carson because he's part of that. How many hours did you put in to help turn this club around when we started to lag a little during COVID? 2. I'm grateful to all of you. Moving finger rights and having written moves on. Let us be grateful for every single moment we get to spend with each other. Toastmasters.